at the end of the straightaway. It's a straightaway. We don't have a pit lane yet, but we're working on that. We're getting the track going first. And it basically comes down the straightaway. Down the straightaway into this little bitty chicane here. Little bump right there on the inside. And then this little 180 thing with a little hill right here. See how the dirt gets kind of caked up. It took us all day to get the track prepared and broken in. It looks dry, but it's kind of spongy. Dries out a little bit, but we just put a little more water on it, and then it comes over into the corner. It's kind of got like a little 180 in this corner. Where it's like, you know, the straightaway comes and it has that little chicane there, and then it comes back this way, all the way around here into a pretty good sized jump. The camera doesn't really do it justice, but it's probably 3 feet tall, maybe. I don't know, it's hard to judge that, but it's pretty tall. It's a little bigger than it was before, and it comes out of that corner really nice. It's a nice smooth transition around that corner. It's a little bit easy to jump and land a little bit too far to the left. You kind of got to jump a little bit to the right. So you can see it's pretty good lip. Pretty good lip on there. He used this skid steer, this big skid steer, and just scooped a jump out of it without even us having to do anything. And then it comes, it's like just like a roller right here, but we were gonna make it a little shorter so it'd be easier to clear. But once everything got broken in and he made the jump a little bigger, it's clearable. It's just you gotta really want to. It's got a pretty good landing. Gets a little chopped up right there, but not anything bad. And it comes into this bowl turn. This is where you want to stay away. I call this Cambodia. It's like Vietnam over here. See, you don't want to go off in there because you don't come out of it. But it's a pretty big bowl turn. I mean, you can tell I'm higher than the track coming from over here. And this makes me think of, like, I call it like the Eli Tomac bowl, because sometimes when you don't groom it very often, it gets kind of like a wave in it right here through this turn. I think when he worked on the track, he kind of smoothed it out, but it gets like a little bit of a wave to it. And then this is the little turn here. I might make it go a little further up into the berm, just a little bit. We might need a little more rope. I think he said he has some more rope. And then, you know, we're trying to work on making the jumps more like what we want, you know? And he knows how to do it. We just had to explain it to him a little bit. He had to add a little bit more to this jump. I don't think he realizes how far we have to jump, or how hard it is to jump this far, I guess you could say. But we were having trouble clearing this, so he came and made this jump a little bit bigger. And that gives us enough. It's pretty hard because everything kind of falls off to the right, so it's really easy to feel like you're going right off the end over there. So you kind of want to stay on the inside. But we're thinking about adding to this and making this a little bigger right here and pulling some of that dirt out of right here. It's a little bit of a bump right there. I think it'd be cooler if we kind of made it a little smoother through right here. Like added some dirt right here where we're going to be landing. It's not quite, I don't think it's quite finished right there, but we kept adding dirt right here. It's pretty tall. That gives you a little bit of perspective, but it's pretty nice. It's a pretty nice jump. It's kind of like a corner tabletop thing. And then it comes down into here. It's almost like a scoop. I asked him to come out with a skid steer and scoop this out a little bit more. He left it to where it was almost like a table jump off kind of a situation where it threw your rhythm off. So we came in here and with that big skid steer and he scooped it all out to where when you come over this little hip tabletop jump kind of a thing into this turn, you can see coming out of over there, and then you come around here. And you really don't want to jump it, you just kind of want to land where you can get a nice run up. Look how this came out. This kind of reminds me of the river track right here. The big jump we had at the river track. I mean, we could have made it a little bit bigger. We could have dug it out more, but it'd probably end up being wet when it rains and stuff. So he did scoop it out. And that's a pretty, coming down off that, and then you come and you hit this jump, like that. It's a pretty good jump over to there. It's a pretty long ways. I wanted to jump up higher a little bit, but it's pretty good. You just don't want to go full throttle. You're coming up over this jump. It's all in a turn. You can see it. Pretty good. Kind of looks like a supercross track, doesn't it? And you come around here and you jump all the way over. It's a pretty good ways. It's probably about 15 feet across. But it's not hard to clear. I wanted to make it, he said we were making it too easy. Glenn did, but I think it'll make it more consistent where people can, carry a line through there. It's a pretty long line, all the way from that jump over there. It's like a big double over there, and then there's a table, and then this big double right here. And then it comes into this cool little turn. This is probably one of my favorite parts of the track. Just landing off that jump, trying to stay on the inside. It's really kind of hard to do. It's kind of at an angle. But you want to land kind of right here and just come around the inside of this. It doesn't look like a hill, but it is a hill. So you come off that, you land on that, and then you come around here. And then you go into the split lane. And on the left, it's kind of like a semi-double that you can't really jump. You just kind of let off when you get to the top of it. Everybody's going this way. This lane is kind of useless, really. But I think he's going to tweak it to try to make it a little more even, maybe. But you can kind of choose which one you want. Usually I just end up running into this thing. We're going to have to figure out what to do with I don't know, whatever that is. And then you come over here. And it does have kind of a jump face on this side. So we could either, we might just leave this. I think maybe it'd be better to make it where we can jump it, I guess. I don't know. At least maybe this one over here, move this a little closer where you can kind of come out there and jump it and then come on the inside. That would probably be the fastest line if we did that. Or at least make it kind of the same. But it's pretty close. I mean, it takes up a lot of the track, but I mean, it's a pretty big track. We have a pretty big track, so we can, I guess, waste space, I guess. And maybe it'll make it easier for the marshals. That's kind of what their whole idea is. And also drainage. See, he's got these drains in the track. And they really do work, too. He hasn't finished them yet. Or hasn't, I don't know, whatever. And then you come around here. And I'd like for this to come around a little bit further. Maybe bring that pipe, that inside pipe, out a little bit more. And give you a little bit more of a run over here. I still don't quite think it's the right thing. I think we need to move it a little further this way, but it'll be okay for now. You come out of here, and you can't really see it, the depth. But you come around that turn here, and see it's kind of like a big hump coming out of that turn. And then you carry some speed through here, and you hit this jump right here. It doesn't look like a very big jump, and it's really not. But it is possible to jump pretty far on it. Coming off that especially, you come down here and it's like, whew, and you jump this whole thing. But I think they're going to change it a little bit and make this a little better of a jump. And then maybe put a couple of more, I don't know. I think they're going to make it a little more complicated. And then this is the right back corner of the track. It comes around here. I would like to cut it off a little more here and make it go a little further out, but it really does flow better for coming on around the inside. Like right here. It kind of, I don't know. You can come on the outside, but it's pretty loamy out there. And it seems like it throws off the angle coming around here if I make it go too far out here. And this jump really turned out pretty good. I still think it could be a little bit bigger, but it's doing its job. And it's over here on the right side of the track. It's a pretty good jump. And then there's like this little ditch right here. And then it's almost like a little tabletop landing area. But it's just flat and long where it's not really that hard to clear it. I almost think maybe we should maybe make it a little bigger where you can jump out over here a little bit further, you know. Instead, you're kind of landing right here and setting up for the turn, which is okay. I did try to move the rope out a little bit more to make you have to go up into this turn, because it seems like you were kind of almost cutting the corner out of the track over here. So we might still do that, but it's pretty nice. It's definitely better than it was, and it seems like we're less likely to go off into whatever all that is. And then this back to the straightaway. You can see the size of the jumps from over here. You know, that whole section is pretty impressive. And then the straightaway is pretty good. Of course, we're going to need a pit lane, but the pits have been all remodeled and they look pretty good. Nothing rolls off the table anymore. He even did this one over here. But we're going to need a pit lane. But now that's a whole track walk right there. You can really see the jump from this angle. Kind of what we were going for. Kind of like a timing section in a supercross track. And then it's got this turn. It really turned out good. It's a pretty good section. Alright, there it is.